Hey guys, I feel a bit lonely at the moment because none of you are here, but I'm going to try and keep it as normal as humanly possible. So this will be our first attempt at an online learning lesson. If it's a bit rubbish, I am sorry. Hopefully I will get better at this over time.
Because of the disruption to our class over the past few periods, we haven't really had an opportunity to talk about the out of Africa theory and what we started studying before all of these disruptive things occurred. So this period is going to be a little bit of revision on exactly that, the out of Africa theory. Now, the out of Africa theory states that everybody in human existence started in Africa as Homo sapiens, and they were hunter and gatherers. And what that means is that they would follow their food around. They would hunt animals and they would gather fruit, vegetables, whatever. They would gather those and they would create food out of that. And because they had to follow the migration of animals around, they would spread and they would move around the continent of Africa. At some point, and we know that they left through the Gate of Garith here in Ethiopia, and they left from up here in Northern Africa. At some point, people left Africa and started colonizing all the way around the world. If you think back to that documentary and that deal paragraph we did in class, we looked at why the humans first left and how they first left from Africa. There is still argument amongst experts, though, that the out of Africa theory even exists. The out of Africa theory says that about 100,000 years ago, they left Africa. So we had 200,000 years ago, people lived in Africa. And then about 100,000 years ago, they started to spread out across the Middle East, into Europe, across into Asia, down into North America and into South America, and down through Asia and into Australia and New Zealand. Not all experts agree with the research and the argument that people left Africa, though. What we do know is that the famous Australian Mungo Man skeleton over here is the oldest buried human found anywhere in the world. So some people believe that people didn't start from Africa because the oldest remains that we have in the world now, oldest ones we've ever found, are here in Australia, not over here in Africa. So everything I've been teaching you has potentially been a lie, or not necessarily a lie, but a theory that isn't true. Because even though we have evidence of people leaving Africa and that all of us are have the same lineage and that we all link back to Africa, we do have evidence that there were people in Australia that are older than the people that live in Africa. So it makes sense that for Indigenous people of Australia to believe that this out of Africa theory is false, because how can it be true if their remains of their ancestors are older than the out of Africa theory? Today, what I want you to do is reflect back on what we have learnt thus far. I'm going to post 3 questions on Google Classroom, and I want you to attempt to answer them to the best of your ability. And the 3 questions will be trying to elicit a bit of a revised understanding of the out of Africa theory. A new lesson will be posted by the time you have your next class, and I would hope by that time you have been able to submit your 3 answers in the form of a Google Doc or a Word doc back to Google Classroom to the submission point I will post. Have a good day, guys.